recap, in part 1 of the carrier rebuild assembly rebuild, I went over the bits required to rebuild the carrier, the races, the assembly hubs, and where I got the bits to do it. And then we spent some time in the garage with a hammer installing the bearing races, and finally, in preparation for part 2, this part, how to properly apply lube, how to properly pack bearings. Alright, here we are in the garage. I thought I had a cylinder that was big enough to go around that, but I don't. So this has been outside in the 30-degree weather, so it's cold. I just took the bearing out of the oven. Ow, fuck, is it hot? And so that's in place. And now I'm gonna just hopefully just drive it on there. If not, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll come up with plan B, I guess. Feeler gauge and run a feeler gauge around it and see if that'll tell me whether or not I've got it in there all the way. So this is 6 thousandths, and I can't get it under there, so that's at least it's 6 thousandths. Alright, here we are back at the press. Your friend of mine. This is a special Jaguar bearing seating tool, JD15 I believe. This is inner wheel bearing, all lubed up. So we're just going to drop that in there along with this. Get it seated. Okay, now let's get it lined up, and I'm going to socket on it because I don't want to have to pump and pump and pump and pump. Things you're going to need. This is a 5/8 inch shaft. This is very, very handy because once you get it all together, actually what we'll do is we'll just build it on here. So we've got our bearing, and then these are the spacer tubes, and on the spacer tubes you have the little shims. So one goes on one side. Now this is an older IRS. This is a 70, well, it's a Series 1 or Series 2 because it has a split rod. In the Series 3 they have just one. So if you were gonna, what I do is I put the shims on either side of the tube like that. So if you had that long tube, then you'd put two of the little, there's a total of 4 of these shims. There's one stuck on there. There's one stuck on there. There's one stuck there and one stuck there. So you've got 2 shims that go back to back like that. And then this one goes on like that. And then you've got your bearing. And then your spacer. And then your felt seal in this cup. And that cup, that side goes, it goes like that. So it goes like, so this kind of rests up against a race and presses in up against the race. So it goes like that, and then we got our felt seal. Now if it was lubed a little bit better, it would probably slip on here a little better, but it's not. Again, soak it in oil. The grease thing doesn't work so good because the surface tension on the grease is too big. And then, the part that kept me awake at night is this goes around the felt seal ring. I don't know what the hell it's called. It's a seal race. So that goes on like that, and then this goes on the other side of it like that. And then these 2 big shims actually go on the outside like that. So that's how that is, and then you do the same thing for the other side. But we're going to do things a little differently. Why? Because we can. We're going to be using a real seal instead. So it all pretty much fits together about the same. So we're going to start this over again. So there's a shim right there. And we're going to stick this on that. And that on that. So this shim's going to go on the outside because it's fucked up already. And let's put it on right. And my big washer. Okay, there's that. And shim's already on there, right? Yep. And the bearing. And the shim's on the bearing already. I'm going to kind of get it centered so when we run the real shaft through, it doesn't get all boogered up. Okay, there's one. There's 2 shims on there. Okay. There's a shim on there. The shim's already on there. So let's run her through. So you're probably asking why I'm using a bolt to do this. And the reason is because I am not going to pound these seals in. I'm going to pull it together with the bolt. Why did I get the last roll? Alright. So now we've got another shim goes right there, and this one goes right there, and that one goes right there. This ring. Now the ring actually presses in around the outer edge. And then put that on because we're going to screw this. I'm just putting those on for some spacers. So now, just put a little load on it. All right. Now, this is business, and I'm hoping that it will pull itself straight. I'm not very talkative when the tension's mounting. It's like I'm very much in the groove. So it's going to work, but it completely screws this one up too. Yeah, see, this should all be stuck in there, like that.
That's a wrap on this video for rebuilding the carrier, and the next video we're going to be setting the preload and some other stuff. So ring the bell up there and stay tuned.